Hi dreamers, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. We're going to be continuing on our Halloween color along for October. If you haven't watched the first couple parts, I highly recommend doing so. Our background for the page we're working on has turned out completely amazing in my totally biased opinion, so definitely check those out if you haven't. I'm assuming if you're watching this part though, you've already seen the first two, so happy to have you here. As you probably already know, we've been working in Jasmine Becket-Griffith's Halloween book, and the page that we have been working on is Pumpkin King's Night Out, and this was voted on by all of our subscribers on the channel, so huge thanks to you guys. So I'm not really going to say too much, we're just going to dive on in. I've got a couple pieces of paper in behind this one, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're actually going to do is I completely missed a pattern on her dress, unfortunately, so we're just gonna quickly draw that in. So we did these big circles, but there's also like this this kind of lined pattern that goes with it. It's like a little bit squiggly. We can do some lines kind of closer together, some further apart. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. So kind of like that, I guess. Let's maybe make some of these a little bit more squiggly. And then I'm just going to go in with my 0.5 fine liner, and I'm just going to kind of follow along the lines that I like. Okay, so kind of like that, I think. That looks good. So that's all we're going to touch on there. I suppose I will include the pen and pencil in this part. Oh. There. And I had totally forgotten to plug my mic in, so hopefully the audio is better. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dive into the super uncertain part, and that is our pumpkin guy's head. I would like to do his jacket, but I am a little bit actually nervous about what I wanted to do, so I might change my mind slightly. I'm very indecisive on it. I'm just a little bit worried that if I do stripes for his jacket in the colors that I wanted, or just stripes in general, it might look to be a little bit too much, especially with her dress. So I might go for a more simple approach. I'm not too sure yet though. So I'm going to go, as always, with the areas that I do know for sure on. And his head is one of them. It's just a little bit nerve-wracking because I'm sure what I want to do, but I'm not sure how to do it or how it's going to look. So I think what I want to do is I'm just going to start in one small area. So I'm going to go in with the black grape. And I'm going to work in some light layers for now until I kind of figure out what I'm doing. So I'm going to add just a little bit of the black grape to this line here, kind of fade it out on either side of it. I'm not working super in depth or anything. I am going to darken as close to this line as possible. So I'm just going to build up this color in here. Okay. Our next color is the violet. So I'm going to bring this in over top. I'm going to bring it out a little ways and fade this out. I don't want this to come out too far. So I'm just going to bring it out just lightly. Okay, next we have the 50% cool gray. So this is going to go over top of our shadow purples. That's what I'm going to call them, our shadow purples. So we're going to bring this out here. Fade that out. I guess for this to work, I kind of have to have it kind of going on both sides. So let's just, I don't know if you've ever had a pencil where you have like a little bit where it's like scratchy. It's like a piece of, I think just like straight binder or something in the pigment. I've got that scratchy feeling on my black grape. So I usually just kind of scribble on a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, to try and get rid of it. Okay, so just gonna follow those same steps here and here. Oh, you want out, do you? You gotta give me a minute. I'm gonna grab the 20% and again, just kind of go over these colors. Bring it out just slightly. And then, I don't know, let's go in with the 10% French gray and see what happens. I'm using the 10% French gray because I don't want it to be completely white, but I still want it to have a little bit of a whitish look to it. It's definitely not at all what I was going for, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna go with it though. We'll see what happens. I think maybe the gray was a bad color to add. I'm just gonna go over these shadows with the violet to try and brighten the purple up a little bit. It might look good once it's fully done. We'll see what happens. Let's work on the top of his head and then we'll carry this down on his face. And hopefully by the time we're done the top of his head, we'll be pros at this. So I'm just going in pretty heavy, kind of going over the lines. And then we're gonna fade them out. I'm gonna try and keep my fades a little bit smaller if I can. Don't want a whole lot of this color, I don't think. Need to keep our shadows smaller is basically what I'm saying. I'm gonna put a little bit of the black grape just on the other side of this stem as if there's a line there as well. It's either gonna look really good or really bad. I'm like, not ready to throw in the towel yet, of course. I'm not thinking that it's completely ruined by any means, but I'm more curious. I'm cautiously curious on how this is going to turn out because I have zero idea. It doesn't look bad, so at least I hope you guys don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks bad. I guess that's really all that matters. As long as I don't hate it, then it's good. We just got back from, every year Carbon School does a Meet the Teacher barbecue, so we just got back from there. His teacher is really nice this year. I'm a little bit worried though, because he seems kind of childish in a way. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but he is, I don't know, kind of strange. But again, not in a bad way. But I do definitely think that he enjoys being liked by the kids, and I'm just hoping that that doesn't stop him from, you know, putting teaching first and being buddy to the kids second. Hopefully I said that right. I might have said that backwards. My brain is on fumes right now. It's been a long day. I've been feeling really good, which I'm glad to say. And usually when I feel good, I try to take on too much and get too much done, and then I end up getting burnt out. I'm trying my best to not get burnt out. I'm trying to get as much as I can done, and when I feel like I'm kind of, you know, wavering a little bit, then I stop and I take a break and I tell myself that it doesn't all have to get done in one day. So I think that's helping. It's definitely helping give me the energy to tackle more. So I don't know. Hopefully it continues like this, because I could get used to this. But yeah, I went to work today, and then we had Carbon's Meet the Teacher barbecue, and I wanted to get a whole part filmed today, but things just kind of kept coming up and it just didn't work out. So I'm filming a little bit while I'm waiting for the rice to cook for supper. And I am so hungry. I can't wait for supper to be done. It's been in the crock pot for the last few hours and it smells so good. So super, super excited to eat. And then I'm going to take the rest of the night off and just hang out. I'm going to try and maybe record a little bit tomorrow morning too. Maybe finish recording this part, depending on how much time I have left to record and what time I get up and all that fun stuff. My goal is to only have to record one part on Saturday, record the final part on Saturday. Today is actually the 14th, so not even halfway through the month yet. Pretty close, but not quite halfway through the month. And I've made good progress on this, so I'm feeling good about it. I actually have a Saturday off this weekend, and it's supposed to be really warm. So I want to get the last part filmed Saturday. That way it's kind of done and out of the way, and then I want to spend Saturday with my kiddo. It's supposed to be really warm, so maybe we'll go do something fun. I would actually almost rather not be warm, because I want to take him to, we have a place called Dinosaur Park here, Alberta, where we live, the province we live in Canada. It's very famous for dinosaurs, the Albertosaurus, which I'm not sure if that's an actual, like, scientifically given name or if it's just a nickname to a dinosaur that is common in Alberta. But anyways, Dinosaur Park is where a lot of them have been found, I guess, or something like that. So it's a really neat and beautiful area that we have really close to home. So it's fun to go up hiking in there and go up on the hills and hoodoos and stuff. It's just absolutely gorgeous. If I remember, I'll try and put in some pictures because I think that'd be pretty cool. Let me just make note of that. But yeah, really, really beautiful area. And it's not so fun to go there on super warm days. Definitely a place that's better enjoyed when it's a little bit cool out. So while I'm not looking forward to fall, I am very much looking forward to some fall activities and the weather. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm not looking forward to winter. Fall just has a bad rep because next up is winter. But I actually think fall is one of my favorite seasons, if not my favorite. It'd be a toss-up between spring and fall. Let's go back in with the violet. I think I'm going to add a little bit of violet just kind of underneath or just around, I guess, this stem. Is that what this is called? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I think it's a stem, pumpkin stem. And then we'll add a little bit more of the purple to the lines here because it does end up getting a little bit grayed out, and I do want the purple to be a little more noticeable. Okay, not bad. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the stem. I am so nervous. Well, it sounds like my rice is done. Okay, we'll finish his head. Trying to make sure that the violet color is really prominent without adding a whole lot of it, and it's kind of not working. Okay, let's add just a little bit more darkness to this one here. Because I ended up fading this one out quite a ways. It's fine, but just doesn't quite match up. Okay. I'm like not breathing again. I don't know why. I don't know why I do that. Maybe it's a good thing I'm actually not coloring too much tonight. My wrist is really starting to bug me. I think the background kind of killed it a little bit, so I probably definitely could use the rest. It's interesting, that's for sure. I'm still indecisive. I don't know if I love it or I don't hate it, but I don't know if I love it. Just trying to blend out the shadows a little bit here. Let's go back in with the violet. I think I want to create a little bit of a shadow kind of underneath his eye here. Don't know if I want to do one underneath here. I think that definitely helps. Maybe let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I like that. It'll definitely help, hopefully add some more structure to his face. Or head, or whatever you want to call this. Just going to sharpen this a little bit. So I'm going to make sure to bring the violet out a little bit more on these. And then, yeah, underneath his crooked smile here too. Just gonna fade it out a little bit better here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the violet to kind of make it look so it's not so harsh. My fade there was awful. It just did not look good at all. So that'll kind of help hide it a little bit. It is now a little bit more purple on that side, but that's okay. We're going to counterbalance that by just adding a little bit more purple down here. Just lightly going in there. And that kind of helps make it look not so obvious. I don't know what I want to do with the eyes. Originally, I wanted to make them black, and I'm still kind of leaning that way, but I'm not sure now because I really like the way that the white looks, so I might have to take this to Photoshop and kind of see what it would look like. But I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm going to go have supper and enjoy a night with my boys, and then I will technically see you guys probably tomorrow morning, but for you, it'll be right away. All right, bye for now. All right, so it's the next day. Still not the biggest fan of this. Not gonna sugarcoat it, but I'm still optimistic. I think one of my biggest problems is there's just so much purple. I think we need to start toning that down and adding more colors. So we're gonna start on her hair. So I'm gonna take the orange and I'm just gonna lightly base everything. Don't mind my hubby if you can hear that. Drives me crazy. Okay, we do have all of her hair in frame, so that's perfect. All right, so then I'm going to come in with one of my darker colors. I'm not sure if this is going to be the darkest color. I think I'm going to add a little bit of the indigo blue into her hair, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So we'll kind of play it by ear and see. If I do add the indigo blue, it'll probably be in areas like this where it's going to be very much in shadow. So right now I'm just putting a light base down because I'm not exactly sure how dark I want to go with her hair. I definitely want it to have that very bright orange. I definitely want to keep her hair more cartoony looking rather than have it look a little bit more on the realistic side. So I don't think I'm going to do hair strands or anything. Okay, definitely want to add some highlights kind of in like the center of her hair here. So we're going to have this kind of coming out from both sides of the center. We'll fade that out a little bit. Maybe have it like a little bit shadowed in behind this front section of her hair. I feel like these are like a little bit more voluminous. I'm not quite sure the word, but pretty sure this part looks like it has more volume than the rest of her hair. So we're gonna make it stand out a little bit by adding a little bit of a shadow behind it. Okay, let's darken this. I'm not going to darken it up all the way, so I'm going to add a decent layer of the raspberry. This is such a gorgeous color. I definitely don't use it nearly enough. So I've got the center section a little bit thicker, kind of like around the front of her bangs here, and then it kind of narrows out as it goes towards the back of her head. And I kind of like the look that that's giving, so I'm going to run with it. It's kind of an accident, but a happy one. I'm gonna add a little bit to this kind of front section of her hair as well. I feel like it kind of needs it. So maybe like a little bit where this one bends. I'm not going as dark as the ones in behind, but just so it has a little bit of that color in there, because I'm a little bit worried that it's gonna look funny if it doesn't. Okay, moment of truth. Let's go in with the indigo blue. Oh, that's not the box I'm looking for. Ooh, I think that's gonna look cool. I don't think we're gonna want too much of this. We're just gonna stick it in like the darkest shadows. Basically like outlining this whole area and then just kind of fading it out. Okay, we'll add a little bit to the middle part of her hair. So again, kind of closer to the front, and then I'm fading it out as I go a little bit further back. So it's not as strong. I'll put a little bit here. Some on this part. Coming out from behind the wings. And then let's do where it's kind of coming out from underneath her arms. This is a gorgeous color. Okay, so just like that. I think that looks good. So then let's come in with our next color, which is the magenta, and I'm gonna give my pencil a good sharpen here. So we're gonna bring this out from the raspberry and then just fade it out a little ways. We only have 2 colors after that, so we want to try and leave a little bit of highlights if we can. I think these ones I'm just going to go ahead and color in with the magenta. I'm gonna add a little bit of the magenta here to start off her bangs. And then maybe just a little bit in this spot too. This kind of helps too because I have little bits of like black and purple that have kind of crossed over the line to her hair from the background, so it's kind of helping make everything look unanimous. So we were bound to have that little bit of darker color in here anyways, but now it doesn't look so out of place. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. So Poppy Red is next. And again, nice sharp pencil. We're going to add this in over our shadows, and then we're going to bring it up a little ways. Maybe fade it out about here. And then same thing in here. We're going to bring it out to, I think, about here and then fade it out. I want the tops of her head to be quite light because of the moon. It would be putting a decent shadow on most of her head, I think. At least the top anyways. Okay, I'm very, very excited to see this finished. Her hair anyways. The rest of the picture I'm a little bit worried about, if I'm being honest, but we'll see how it goes. I'm playing around with the idea of adding a little bit of orange to his head, but orange and purple generally make brown, so I don't know how well that would go. I'm not quite sure how to save it and get it to where I love it and not just can tolerate it, because I can tolerate that. That's okay, but we'll see. I'm hoping that once I get more of the picture colored, then inspiration will hit. I'm very certain about Sally and very uncertain about Jack, so maybe once Sally's done, inspiration will hit for Jack. I don't know. Hopefully. One thing for sure is we don't quit here. We persevere, we keep going, we push through, and we finish it. So even if this doesn't turn out being one of my favorite pictures, you guys are still gonna have it as a color along. I'll just be honest and say that it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, which happens. It happens to the best of us for sure. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of the orange here, or the poppy red, I guess. Just to kind of help break up this super long hair strand. Okay, now before I go too crazy, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the indigo blue here if I can. It's pretty burnished, but let's see if I can add a little bit. I don't want a whole lot anyways. It's interesting. It kind of creates a little bit of a different color than everywhere else, but I'm gonna take it. That spot just looked a little bit strange because I did shadows kind of coming out from everywhere else and then just totally skipped that spot. So I think it was necessary. Okay, this is the last color I have. However, I'm debating bringing in a little bit of a lighter color too, but I don't know. Let's see how this is looking. I think this will look okay with just the orange. I don't want to dull her hair down. The orange is what's going to add the vibrancy to it, so let's go with it. That is gorgeous. Look at how much that changed the colors here and how much it pops with that blue. Beautiful. think this might be a 5-part piece. I will be very amazed if I can get the rest of this colored in 4 parts. We are going to do her skin, regardless of how long it takes for this part. And then, I mean, I guess the clothes might be possible to do in 1 part, but I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I'm gonna guess 5 parts. You know, it's crazy. I actually have never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never actually seen the whole thing. I should probably put that on my list. No. Well, we got her skin a little bit there. That's what I get for not paying attention. Gorgeous. So, let's see, I'm gonna grab the raspberry and I'm gonna add a little bit on the bottom left of this curl here, just because it looks a little funny to me. Anyways, it looks just weird by itself. It looks very flat. We want some dimension in that. I'm gonna add a little bit kind of coming up here as well. That looks better. I imagine we're going to want her eyebrows to match her hair. Let's go in with the raspberry at the ends. I'm going to bring that through, fade it out. We are going to add a little bit of the indigo blue. Fade that out. I think I'm going to skip the magenta. It looks very similar to the raspberry, so in this small space I don't think it's necessary to have it. So we're going to skip to the poppy red. We're just going to bring that out slowly. Fade that out, and then we'll finish this off with the orange. And worst case scenario, if we don't end up liking this, because they actually look a little bit silly now, we can go over it with black later. Black eyebrows always look good. All right, so now on to her skin. Okay. I don't want to have to move my book around, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit there. I'm going to grab my eraser and then just very, very gently erase the pencil underneath our marker. This is actually probably something that I should have done before coloring anything, so it is actually proving to be a little bit difficult. If you have a smaller eraser, it'd work even better. It would take a little bit more time, but it would work better. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so for her skin, actually for her skin, I'm gonna do things a little bit backwards. So I'm gonna start with the Mediterranean blue, and this is actually our second darkest color. I'm a little bit too scared to go in with our darkest color, so second darkest it is. So I'm just going to go in and start picking out our highlights. I'm just going to try to find the one we did last year so I can kind of see how I did her nose. Okay. So I'm just going to bring kind of like a bridge up here, I guess. That's pretty much all I did. Oh, I guess this was the one from last year. I didn't add a nose to her. So yeah, nose a little bit like this. That works. Keep it simple. I don't think I'm too worried about putting blush on Sally. I don't think it'll really show up very well. I'm going to try and put a little bit of a shadow underneath the scars here to kind of make them a little bit more noticeable, I guess. Going on the left side of this scar. It doesn't really matter which side though. All right, it looks pretty good so far. I go on the left side of this scar as well. I guess stitching. I don't know if you would call them scars or stitching. I'm not too sure. So left and bottom here. Her neck is going to be fairly shadowed. So I have a shadow coming in around her hair, kind of underneath her neck. Madison went very, very detailed with the skin. I think I'm going to keep mine a little bit more simple because hers stresses me out a little bit. It's very dark and moody and absolutely gorgeous, but I don't have that much confidence in myself right now, if I'm being honest. And I also want to go for like soft, almost glowing skin. So that's the goal. See if we can get there. I'm gonna go on top, like above this one. Okay, on top of this one, below this one. Excuse me. Feels like there's something stuck in my throat. Could actually do the shadows on both sides of the stitching. I'll do that on some of them. Let's do it on the wrist one. I do kind of like the look of like having it light on one side and a little bit dark on the other side with some of the stitching, but I think in some areas it would look good. I'm definitely leaving her face alone. I love the way that one looks. This one can pretty much be both sides because it's surrounded in shadow anyway, so that one doesn't really matter. Then I guess let's do this one. And then the rest we'll kind of leave. Okay, so her nose, I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow on the bottom side of her nose. I'm trying to leave a little bit of a white highlight just above the very bottom line. Put a little bit of shadow just kind of around the line of her eyes. It's not really above or below, it's kind of both. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's go in with our indigo blue. And this is going to be our darkest color, so I don't want to add too much, but I do want to really accentuate the shadows. So I'm just going to layer my heart out here. I'm just going to keep building up that layer until I'm happy with the color. I think this is pretty good. I don't know if I'd want to go any darker than that. Okay, let's darken up the shadow underneath the stitching on her mouth and kind of under her lips here. Bring this one down a little bit and then just fade it out. I don't want it to follow her cheeks all the way down. I'm okay having the second darkest shadow there. I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to the nose, kind of underneath it. I wonder if I should put like shadow on like the bottoms of her eyes. Kind of make her eyes look like they're sticking out just a little bit. It might add like a little bit of a creepy look. Let's do it, but not all the way across. So I think just like slightly past her eyelashes. Let's do that. And we'll fade that both out this way and down. We'll do that on both sides. She is looking so spooky gorgeous already. I love it. This one I'm going to build up a little bit more. It's okay if it's a little bit darker. I create a little bit of a darker shadow on the right side of this stitching here. I'm going to make a darker shadow on top of the stitching here. I'm just going to make it a little bit darker, kind of in this corner area here. Okay, I like that. Darken up here. Okay, I think to really darken up these shadows, I'm gonna grab the black grape. I'm gonna add a little bit here, a little bit here. Underneath her neck. Let's maybe do a little bit underneath her arm here. And then underneath her hair right here. And I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to touch anywhere else with this. Okay, let's go back in with the Mediterranean blue, excuse me, and start working out. Just lightly. I don't think we're going to need to go full opacity with these colors. I think it's actually better if we leave them a little bit lighter, and then we'll just go in and burnish everything with our lightest color, which will make it appear like it's glowing. That's the plan anyways. We'll see how it goes. I'm still cautiously optimistic. Let's fade this out on kind of both sides of her nose here. Okay, I'm happy with that. I really don't want to make her skin too dark accidentally, so I'm not even sure about this next color. We're going to try it and see. So this is the Periwinkle. I think I'm just going to mix this in with the Mediterranean blue. Worst case scenario, all this does is gives us an extra layer to our shadows and doesn't really do anything. I guess best case scenario. Best and I don't know. It's doing a little bit though. It's definitely darker than I had thought, so I'm glad I decided to pop it in the shadows first. It's kind of just more of like a muted version, I think, of the Mediterranean blue. It's good though, it looks good. It's a good shadow color. Blue Violet Lake is the next color. Don't think I want a whole lot of this color either. It is a fair bit lighter than the other two, so this is going to be a good color to kind of bring out into our lightest color, which is actually going to be the Sky Blue Light. It's probably so light, I'm not even sure if you guys can see it. My goal here with this color is just to add a little bit of kind of shading in the spots where it's going to be a little bit lighter, so that way it's not just all one blocky color, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I went a little bit too much on her nose though. I'm just gonna gently erase some of that off. So basically this is going to be like a mixed color. So all of this highlighted area, or all of this light area, is going to be the sky blue light. But if I left this whole area just with the sky blue light, I think it'd look a little bit funny and it'd look like it's too much. So I'm just lightly blending out from the shadows with the Blue Violet Lake, and then just bringing it out a little bit as a color that's going to mix with the sky blue light to kind of create a little bit of a darker tone of it. It's not as important down here, I don't think, because we've got a very limited room, like there's not a whole lot. But I'm still gonna add it just a little bit anyways. It's hardly noticeable, it really is, but it's making a slight difference, which I think it's worth it. Give this a nice sharpen and make sure the tip is very clean. I'm going to start in the shadows and then bring it out. Going in with like a medium to firm pressure here. I don't want to burnish everything right off the bat. I want to be able to move that pigment around, help the colors blend together. Just going over the areas with this pressure is enough to kind of help burnish, and it's probably not even completely burnished, but it's enough. It's enough for what we need. gonna lighten up my pressure here. Just kind of add a good layer of the sky blue light. And then same as we did on the other side, I'm gonna start in with the shadows using that medium firm pressure and blend outwards from them. See, what color are her lips? I imagine those are blue as well. They're not. Okay. Her lips actually kind of match her hair. But I did her hair more on the orangey side and less on the red, so oh no, I touched the orange. Gently erase that out of there so it's not super noticeable, hopefully. Definitely got to be careful around the other colors. Gotta try and make sure we're not going out of line. Otherwise that can happen. Trying to be very, very careful around this edge because the lines here are very thin and I really don't want to pull black onto her arm because I will not be able to get rid of that. Okay, let's grab the raspberry. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess today. Constantly coloring outside of the lines. All right. So I'm just going to go in from each side of her lips here. I'm going to bring it over quite a ways and fade it out. Let's actually grab the indigo blue first. Let's add a little bit of the indigo blue in on her lips. And then we will color that in with the poppy red. I'm just realizing that I didn't color in her nose. So also got to do that. There, that looks good. Yeah, totally just decided to skip this area apparently. There we go. I think that's some pretty good progress for this part. As always, don't mind the mess. All right, so this is what we have so far. Extremely happy with how Sally is turning out so far. Very worried about Jack. We'll figure something out. I'm not exactly sure. I really don't like the purple. I'm actually debating painting over his head, painting everything black and then just putting simple white details in. I don't even know what Jack looks like, honestly. Hold on. Oh, I mean, his head is white. We'll figure something out. I think I want to go a little bit more true to his character. I think it's the purple I'm not liking in there. So I might just end up going in with like a white Posca pen or white paint and just making his head a lot more white. I think the purple was a bad idea on my part or just too much. I think maybe I should have just done like a little bit of a shadow on the bottom. I don't know. It happens. We'll fix it. We will definitely fix it. But anyways, I think this is a good stopping point. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. If you did like this video, I would really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up. It would help me in the channel out a lot. And I think that's it. As always, take care and hopefully I will see you in part 4. All right, guys. Bye.